sorry, that's for a Democrat show.
Let me know when you're ready. No matter what the technical difficulty is, this man is a professional. He goes all the way.
What you represent to them is freedom.
Was an extremely great conservative commentator. We're tearing it up on Wednesday night. This is awesome. This will allow me to retort.
Well, this is Jersey Joe for the Reaver of Common Sense show. 8 p.m. on shrmedia.com.
Actually, I just totally screwed up. This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show. And welcome to the Reaver of Common Sense. I am your host, Jersey Joe, and I'm trying to make sense out of the senseless. The Jersey takeover is here. Oh, damn, I'm mixing board. All right. Let's see. Right off the bat. Come on. There we go. Don't touch it. Don't breathe on it. The Jersey Takeover's here. We have expanded to 2 hours every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you want to support the show and support SHR Media, go to Reaver.one and click on the shop button. All right. Sorry I wasn't here yesterday, but trying to deal with a water issue. Hot water heater broke and just calamity. No water. It's calamity, I tell you. Oh, boy. They see nothing's changed. Liberals are still going. Oh, my God, that reminds me. I had that liberal on Twitter. 3 days. 3 days. And the poor guy didn't know the difference between evidence and opinion. Fact and opinion. 3 days. I've given you evidence. Of course, it's always followed by all the screaming, yelling, insulting, racism. And then there was the fascism statements, and I pointed out that the only one that's trying to push a one-party system is the liberals. The only one that's pushing violence and for political gain is the liberals. And that are two of the biggest components of being fascist, which I got told I don't know the definition of, but I copy and pasted right from Webster. He didn't like that. Then I got tired of it and just called him a bigot. And, well, I don't know the definition, so I copy and pasted that to him. He didn't like that. He didn't like much, but he went on for, seriously, a day and a half. Or, 3 days. I'm thinking something else. 3 days of yammering and yammering and yammering. He's tagging other people, trying to get them involved. Oh. And I was name-calling because I told him I think he's mentally ill. Again, I told him he didn't know basic definitions. Because that wasn't name-calling. I was pointing out that I think he's mentally ill. Well, you see, that proves you're a fascist. Because you're attacking me for my opinion. No, I respect your opinion. I disagree with it, but I do respect it. It's your actions that I'm calling you mentally ill on. The fact that we're going on 3 days of this when I told you believe whatever you want. It's not my place to force my opinion onto his, but he continued to force his onto mine, proving my points. And realistically, he just kept enforcing my point of view. His buddies wouldn't jump in. I don't know. I think they've literally lost their gotten picking mind. So do most other people. So, oh, Lord. Oh, we got Fox. I think it's Friday. The new executive order on immigration, temporary travel ban, halt, whatever you want to put it, will be put out. And the Republicans won't be able to stand behind this. That's a discussion for another time about. There's the fear is going on about what needs to be done in this country. We'll see how it goes Friday. There will be fights. But my first article, I came across this late last night. As I was going across it, trying to do a little research, and I was finding, evidence to back it up slowly. I lost total internet. It seems Comcast wanted to do an update and shut down my TV and everything. I was very upset. Very, very upset. No. And what I came across is there is a scandal going on with the Democrat Party again that the mainstream media is not picking up on. It could explain where the true leak came from. And I'm being serious, where they got their emails hacked, because they may have got hacked again, but this time sensitive, top secret information may have been hacked. 3 brothers who managed office information technology for members of the House Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence and other lawmakers were abruptly relieved of their duties on suspicion that they accessed congressional computers without permission. Now, excuse me on not being able to pronounce these names totally properly. Abid, Imran, Jamal, Awan were barred from computer networks at the House of Representatives last Thursday. 3 members of the Intel panel and 5 members of the House Committee on Foreign Affairs were among the dozens of members who employed the suspects on a shared basis. Anybody seeing something here? We have 3 brothers, and it seems they were given access to DNC information, and it seems they expanded that and went into areas they shouldn't go. And also, among those whose computer systems may have been compromised is Representative Debbie Wasserman Schultz. She couldn't secure the DNC. She seems like she can't secure hers. It's amazing. This is the Democrat who was previously the target of a disastrous email hack when she served as chairman of the Democrat National Committee during the 2016 campaign. The brothers are suspected of serious violations, including accessing members' computer networks without their knowledge, stealing equipment from Congress. Jamal handled IT for Representative Castro, a Texas Democrat who serves on both the Intel. The heck? Lost a Intel and Foreign Affairs panel. According to Representative Castro, his employment with that office has been terminated as a 2-2, February the 2nd. Jamal also worked for Louisiana Democrat Richmond, who is on the Committee on Homeland Security. Imran worked for Representative Carson, an Indiana Democrat, and a California Democrat. Both are members of the Intel Committee. And their spokesman did not respond to any comment. Imran also worked for the House office of Wasserman Schultz. Then Representative Duckworth, an Illinois Democrat, employed a bid for IT work in 2016. She was a member of the House Committee dealing with Armed Service Oversight and Benghazi. Duckworth was elected to the Senate in November 2016. Abid has a prior criminal record and a bankruptcy. Abid also worked for Representative Frankel, a Florida Democrat who is a member of the Foreign Affairs Committee. The three men are called shared employees, meaning they are hired by multiple offices which split their salaries and use them as needed as IT service. It is up to each member to fire them. Criminal investigation into 5 unnamed people began late last year related to serious potential illegal violations of House IT policy. Politico reported it on Thursday. Chief of staff for the members were briefed Thursday by Sergeant at Arms. Capitol Police spokesman said the investigation was still ongoing and arrests have not been made, but staff were asked to update their security settings. Now, understand this. They had access to DNC files, DNC email, House files, House computers. Guess what? During the supposed hacking, and several places have said it was an inside job. And now, quietly, this is being done, because if it hit the mainstream media, they wouldn't be able to blame Russia because, well, guess what? Again, the DNC has not been secure with their computers. This would also show that it might not be Russia. All three men have shared a house in Laurelton, Virginia, that is owned by Hain R. Alavi. She is a female House INT employee who works for many of the same members as the three brothers, as well as House Democratic Caucus. Signs of trouble have long been visible in public records. The Congressional Credit Union repossessed. God damn it, I can't speak today. Abid's car in 2009, and he declared bankruptcy in 2012, facing multiple lawsuits. Alvey, who did not respond, has taken multiple second mortgages. Security-sensitive jobs typically require background checks for credit and legal problems that can create pressures to cash in on access to secret information and documents. Jamal, whose public record suggests is only 22 years old and first began working in the house when he was 20, was paid nearly $160,000 a year, or 3 times the average house IT staff salary, according to Inside Gov, which tracks congressional salaries. Abid was paid $161,000 and Imran $165,000. Jack Langer, spokesman for the Intel Committee, said the committee office has its own IT staff and security measure and classified information for the panel is not allowed to be sent to members' personal office. These people had access to a lot of DNC information. DNC emails. They had access to some top secret information. And it seems the Democrats have not taken the security in their system serious. This may not, as been said repeatedly, not been Russia. It seems it's the DNC not caring about security or worrying about it. It would seem that maybe, just maybe, that what I've been saying all along is real. And that would be, there was no hack from Russia. To use the old expression, it was a red herring being used. Because they had such lax security underneath Debbie Wasserman Schultz that, well, it pretty much says it itself. It's an absolute joke. It is appalling. It's disgusting that this isn't all over mainstream media, that the big three are ignoring this story. Because if this had anything to do with the RNC or anything to do with Russia, you better believe they'd be jumping all over it. But because it's a hacking of the DNC again, they want to ignore that. They want to ignore facts. As I said, even Politico even reported on this a little. Politico only talks about the alleged equipment theft. There's more than that to this story. They had access to some really sensitive information. You're listening to the Reaver of Common Sense right here on SHR Media and High Plains Radio, and we will be right back.
Listening to the SHR Media Network.
Breaking news. According to the latest report coming out of SHR Media, a merchandise store to support both the Reaver of Common Sense and SHR Media has just been unleashed to the general public. Be forewarned that this site can be contagious and numerous items can be purchased to support the best news programming. Go to Reaver.one website and click on the store link to check out the merchandise.
You have been listening to Reaver of Common Sense, hosted by my dad, Jersey Joe. Beware, the Jersey Takeover is here. Every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch the Reaver of Common Sense show, hosted by Jersey Joe, right here on shrmedia.com and highplainsdailynews.com. Only Jersey can deliver hell like no one else, so consider this your fair warning.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians,
You got a business. That you didn't build that.
a team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean,
Dude, I'm not saying cough was stupid, bro.
Sackhead Clint,
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
also starring Sacco as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, 'cause I'm drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on shrmedia.com.
Every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you can catch the Southside Mutt Show with its hosts, the Jersey Boys, Jersey Joe and Crash, right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio, where we will be digging up the dirt.
Times are dark. The people misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation in confusion needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guide. Because truth is not always pleasant.
If you miss a show, don't worry. You can catch the replays two ways, rebootingliberty.com or the reaverofcommonsense.com. While you're there on Reaver of Common Sense, don't forget, drop in your email and keep up to date with everything going on, or click the like button on the Facebook widget. Now on to the Reaver of Common Sense.
Listening to the SHR Media Network.
This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show. And welcome to the Reaver of Common Sense. I'm your host, Jersey Joe, and I am trying to make sense out of the senseless. The Jersey Takeovers here, we have expanded to 2 hours every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So that investigation, we'll try to keep abreast on to see what's going on. Don't know how good it will be, whether it'll actually do anything or not. But we'll see. We'll keep an eye on it. Oh, where are we? Brain fart. All right. Damn. Let's see. Polls. Who's got the polls? Well, a new poll is out. A Harvard-Harris poll provided exclusively to The Hill. So The Hill is, I'm going to say left-leaning, found that 80% of voters say local authorities should have to comply with the law by reporting to federal agents the illegal immigrants they come in contact with. 80% oppose sanctuary cities. Now, what really pisses me off is you get the likes of New Jersey, and they're looking at becoming a sanctuary state. And the government, the senators and all that, are debating to put a bill in that if they become a sanctuary state and President Trump takes away their federal funding, that they will immediately make the people make up the difference. So 80% of America does not want sanctuary cities. And you get a state like New Jersey who says, oh, we want to break the law, and us elected officials are going to decide this. We're going to do this. But when the government punishes us, it should be a lot more extreme. Those officials should be arrested immediately. Even for debating this, they should be arrested. You have free speech, but you don't have a right to promote illegal activity. And that is part of U.S. Code 1324. So, and then they're going to say, well, because we decided to ignore and break the law, we will punish the people of New Jersey and make them pay the difference for our failures. That is absolutely ridiculous. Those are the officials that should be removed because they are not upholding to their oath of office. They're not trying to comply with law. They are trying to punish American citizens for their illegal activity. I'm just amazed. Now let us, peon citizens, talk about that illegal type of activity against the will of our senators and watch how fast we are arrested. But that is an argument that's going to go on for a while. It's a joke. Our government has turned into a joke, and New Jersey is the biggest joke of them all. I'm from New Jersey. I love New Jersey. I can't live there anymore. Hence Jersey Joe. But you know what? They're just. And here's a funny little side joke. I had someone that couldn't understand why I'm called Jersey Joe, but I live in Florida. Well, if I'm in Jersey, I'd be just like any other Joe. But I'm in Florida, so I'm a Joe that's from Jersey, hence Jersey Joe. And you explain it to these half-wits, and they still don't understand. Sort of like calling, why do they call that fat guy skinny? Hey, Slim. Just, I don't know. They're not the smartest people. But they think just because they have a college education, they're smarter. It don't work that way. Sorry. I'm not against education. I'm not against colleges. But it does not make you smarter than everybody else. And that's the part they can't get through their heads. All right, I don't want to get into that argument again because I've beaten that tree down multiple times. But back to the original subject of 80% don't want sanctuary cities. And if you look at, there's hundreds of cities across the nation, and most of them have Democratic mayors or Democratic city councils, and they are the ones that are doing the sanctuary cities against the will of the people. That's what kind of makes me laugh. It is these politicians that choose to do it against the will of the people. A Reuters analyst found that top 10 sanctuary cities in the United States received $2.27 billion in federal funding for programs ranging from public health service to early childhood education. Hang on. All right, Kelly is expected to hire thousands new immigration enforcement agents with a broad authority to detain and deport those in the country illegally, potentially setting up a showdown, which we're seeing. We are expelling the illegals from our country. We're starting with the criminals, as it was stated. And I'm amazed how many people can't understand the difference between illegal immigration and legal immigration. And these idiots, some of them have been so brainwashed, there is no laws when it comes to borders. Yeah, go into Mexico, you jackass. Go into South America illegally, jackass. Then don't come crying for us to bail you out when you do it. Why? Because they're not going to treat you all that well. You're going to get treated pretty disgustingly. Trump has more support than most people think. He has 52% support on the executive order declaring building a wall and hiring 10,000 more immigration officers, and to revoke money from sanctuary cities that refuse to deport illegal immigrants. This damn thing had that, and I was reading through it, and 52%. 80% are against the sanctuary cities. "75% of the voters favor increased border patrol. Wouldn't give an increased border patrol over a wall. A small percentage are against the wall, and then there's a large percentage that want the border patrol. It hasn't worked. Border patrol hasn't worked. They've also been indoctrinating to how bad a wall is. 53% support the ban that suspends U.S. refugee program for 120 days. We're supposed to accept 100,000 refugees from Syria. 51% say we should lower that number. 34% say we should keep that same number. And 15% say we should increase. It's interesting because when you hear the media, you don't hear these numbers. They treat as though the people against it are the ones that are the popular. And within these numbers, you have people who voted for Hillary. There is a lot of people that voted for Hillary that believed in the bullshit that Trump was a racist, xenophobe, and all the others. Now they're seeing his actual plans, and they're supporting it. And I loved it because the idiot that was going at me for 3 days was like, he's got the lowest approval rating. I was like, I've seen 50%. He comes back, he goes, well, low of 39 and high of 55, depending on which poll. Yeah. Exactly. And that was one of my points. Why all of a sudden do I sound like Christopher Walken? I don't know. It is an interesting time to be living, to say the least. Very interesting. Because I don't think we're going to have any answers anytime soon on anything, because they're going to keep fighting. They're going to fight everything. They're going to fight tooth and nail. His new temporary, they're going to start court cases. And I love it because they immediately jump behind. No, look how illegal it is. They're suing him. They weren't saying that when the conservatives were suing Obama over his executive orders. They were, look at that. They're just trying to block from anything being done. This is a waste of time, waste of lawsuit. There's every excuse in the book. But now it's a different story. Now those lawsuits mean something. It's amazing. It's politics. They'll try to spin everything their way. And I don't know what the answer is. Now, the new order is supposed to target the same countries. It's just worded better. And we're going to have an attorney general that is actually on board with Trump that will probably give more guidance and help to Trump than that temporary person. You're listening to the Reaver of Common Sense right here on SHR Media and High Plains Radio, and we will be right back.
Listening to the SHR Media Network.
Breaking news. According to the latest report coming out of SHR Media, a merchandise store to support both the Reaver of Common Sense and SHR Media has just been unleashed to the general public. Be forewarned that this site can be contagious and numerous items can be purchased to support the best news programming. Go to Reaver.one website and click on the store link to check out the merchandise.
You have been listening to Reaver of Common Sense, hosted by my dad, Jersey Joe. Beware, the Jersey Takeover is here. Every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch the Reaver of Common Sense show, hosted by Jersey Joe, right here on shrmedia.com and highplainsdailynews.com. Only Jersey can deliver hell like no one else, so consider this your fair warning.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians,
You got a business. That you didn't build that.
a team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean,
Dude, I'm not saying Catholic, stupid bro.
Sackhead Clint,
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
also starring Sacco as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, I'm a little bit drunk, 'cause I'm drinking, drinking, drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on shrmedia.com.
Every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you can catch the Southside Mutt Show with its host, the Jersey Boys, Jersey Joe and Crash, right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio, where we will be digging up the dirt.
Times are dark. The people misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation in confusion needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guide. Because truth is not always pleasant.
If you miss a show, don't worry. You can catch the replays two ways, rebootingliberty.com or the reaverofcommonsense.com. While you're there on Reaver of Common Sense, don't forget, drop in your email and keep up to date with everything going on, or click the like button on the Facebook widget. Now on to the Reaver of Common Sense.
listening to the SHR Media Network.
This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show. And welcome back to the Reaver of Common Sense. I'm your host, Jersey Joe, and I'm making sense out of the senseless. It's... This one, it doesn't shock me that it's back in the news. It really doesn't. You know, we heard how it's the hottest year again. They jumped out right before the Paris, the big Paris global warming meeting. Paris climate negotiation, that's it, in 2015. And they jumped out again, and it's hottest. Oh, boy. To paraphrase the immortal words of Britney Spears, oops, climate scientists did it again. The award-winning scientists responsible for creating, collecting, and maintaining the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, NOAA, data archive, John Bates, recently disclosed leading NOAA's climate scientists violated the agency's rules, rushing to publication data which had yet to be tested and confirmed in order to influence the outcome of the Paris climate negotiations in 2015. In a second breach of agency protocol, the scientists involved, led by Tom Carl, failed to properly archive and store their data sets for testing and public disclosure. Some of the original data sets were lost when the computer used to process the data suffered a complete failure. So in other words, Carl's 2015 pause-busting research that's supposed to show, contrary to every temperature data set in existence at the time, Earth had not experienced an 18-year pause in rising temperatures, claiming instead everyone else's data had been wrong and temperatures had continued to rise at an alarming rate, right along with carbon dioxide levels. But, as Bates puts it, Carl's team put their thumb on the scale to produce the results they wanted. So, in other words, they had the results they wanted. They created the test and data to back it up. This is happening over and over and over and over again. Then they wonder why so many people don't believe in this crap. They want it to be true so bad they fake the data. Then so many people just ignore. It's mind-numbing. Much of the climate science community became suspicious of Carl's claim over the months after the study was released. When it was discovered that Carl took reliable readings from buoys but then adjusted them upwards using readings from saltwater intake on ships that acted as weather stations, even though readings from those ships have long been known to be too hot. As a result, the ocean temperature data set used by Carl exaggerated the warming. When you take good data, mix it with bad data, and then average it out, you no more produce liable results than adding muddy river water to purified bottled water, producing safe drinking water. Carl's actions show climate scientists wedded to the theory humans are causing catastrophic climate change learned nothing from the ClimateGate scandal of 2009. In ClimateGate, hacked email exchange between prominent climate scientists advising world leaders on climate policy exposed the scientists behaving badly. The scientists involved used a trick to remove inconvenient data from their data sets to hide the decline. In a critical set of proxy temperatures. In addition, the email showed they collaborated to prosecute and have fired an editor of a private climate science journal who allowed articles questioning the existence of humanity's role in global warming to be published. Well, and I also had this guy hitting me on, that guy on Twitter for 3 days hit me on global warming. I've said before, I don't believe in all this global warming bullcrap. Do I believe we need to regulate and be careful of our toxins that we're polluting? Yes. I don't believe we need to regulate everything. And it's just amazing that so many people that are for global warming and against man-made actions are on computers, driving cars, flying in planes, using fossil fuels. Seems they'd be a little bit of a hypocrite. It's absolute. It is nothing more than a money-making scheme. That's it, folks. In the aftermath of the climate scandal, in order to ensure scientific integrity and gain the public trust, scientific bodies called on scientists to allow access to the raw data, assumptions, methodology, and software, and to promptly and completely respond to all Freedom of Information Act and government requests for information. Carl and his team not only violated NOAA's own protocols, they also ignored all the suggestions made by the scientific community to improve transparency and accountability for research. When the U.S. House of Representatives House Committee on Science, Space, and Technology and the Committee with Oversight over Federally Funded Research requested and eventually subpoenaed NOAA's documents for its pause-busting claim, NOAA refused to turn over all the material requested, citing concerns about confidentiality and the integrity of the scientific process. New investigations are being launched into NOAA's research in light of Bates' disclosure. Transparency is a paramount virtue in science, since scientists can only produce discoveries that expand human knowledge and further human welfare when different teams of researchers collaborate by sharing data, assumptions, and methodology, exchange theories and ideas, and review and test each other's work. For NOAA, sound science took a back seat to scoring a political victory. Too many times, it's about policy and not science. The science is done tells me you're not interested in science. You're interested in silencing opposition. Science is never done. Science is ever changing. Challenged. Because if science was done, the world would be flat. If science was done, we would be the center of the universe. If science was done, the moon would be made out of cheese. If science was done, there'd be Martians on Mars. Science is never done. Science is ever changing. Science is ever being questioned. they don't want questions because they know they won't be able to answer those questions. Man, my CPU is like slammed right now, and I don't know why. Well, there's no reason for that. I don't even use that. God. Oh, there we go. For some reason, Microsoft Cloud or whatever the hell that process is for internet, OneDrive, I don't even use it, and it was slamming my computer with like 60% computing process. Science is never done. They didn't want to get questioned or have to answer their wild accusations. Extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence, yet world leaders ignored this fact when they pointed to Noah's claim the world was warming despite other research showing no warming for 18 years. Disturbingly, this research of dubious merit provided impetus for producing the climate change treaty agreed to by leaders of more than 190 nations in Paris in December 2015. These are dark times for climate science. It has nothing to do with Donald Trump being in the White House. It has to do with charlatans that are more worried about scoring political points than showing data, showing empirical evidence. They damage the credibility that we need to be cautious. They go to the extreme. Seriously, I had one idiot I heard talking and said, I can prove there's climate change. California has gone through dry spells and gone through wet spells, and right now they're in one of the wet spells, and that proves there's global warming. It didn't rain, it's global warming. It's raining, it's global warming. No hurricanes, global warming. Last year, or this past summer, we got a couple hurricanes coming towards Florida. I heard someone scream, that's proof there's global warming. Yes, a hurricane heading towards Florida is something oh so new. Look at the snowstorms the North's getting. That's proof global warming. When there was no storm, that's global warming. If there's an earthquake, that's global warming. Sun flares have nothing to do with our temperatures. Nothing. The sun has nothing to do with the heating of the earth. Geology? Ignore that. Ignore that we have gone through these areas of up and down in our weather. Ignore geology. Ignore the history of the planet. Carbon dioxide levels have gone up and down throughout the history of this world. Ignore geology again. It's absolutely amazing. It's I don't know where to even go with it. It's same BS, different day. And they have that stuck in their head, and facts don't mean a thing. All right, we're going to take a little bit extra break. I got to do something around the studio real quick. You're listening to the Reaver of Common Sense right here on shrmedia.com and HP Pundit Radio. We will be right back. Maybe not. Let's see.
listening to the SHR Media Network.
Breaking news. According to the latest report coming out of SHR Media, a merchandise store to support both the Reaver of Common Sense and SHR Media has just been unleashed to the general public. Be forewarned that this site can be contagious and numerous items can be purchased to support the best news programming. Go to Reaver.one website and click on the store link to check out the merchandise.
Listening to Reaver of Common Sense, hosted by my dad, Jersey Joe. Beware, the Jersey Takeover is here. Every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch the Reaver of Common Sense show, hosted by Jersey Joe, right here on shrmedia.com and highplainsdailynews.com. Only Jersey can deliver hell like no one else, so consider this your fair warning.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians,
You got a business. That you didn't build that.
a team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean,
Dude, I'm not saying coffee is stupid, bro.
Sackhead Clint,
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
also starring Sacco as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, I'm a little bit drunk, 'cause I'm drinking, drinking, drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on shrmedia.com.
Every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you can catch the Southside Mutt Show with its hosts, the Jersey Boys, Jersey Joe and Crash, right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio, where we will be digging up the dirt.
Times are dark. The people misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation in confusion needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guide. Because truth is not always pleasant.
If you miss a show, don't worry. You can catch the replays two ways, rebootingliberty.com or the reaverofcommonsense.com. While you're there on Reaver of Common Sense, don't forget, drop in your email and keep up to date with everything going on, or click the like button on the Facebook widget. Now on to the Reaver of Common Sense.
Listening to the SHR Media Network.
This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show. And welcome back to the Reaver of Common Sense. I am your host, Jersey Joe, and I'm making sense out of the senseless. Oh, it is. They just keep shooting themselves in the foot. Where did my mouse go? Where did my mouse go? There did my mouse go. Lost my mouse. Listen, I'm not against the environment. None of us are. I know that. That's a wild exaggeration that they use. But I want to see sensible data, sensible rules, not wild accusations. And that's all they seem to do. It's unbelievable. It's when they start acting responsibly themselves, then I'll start trusting their data. But they have not done anything that's remotely responsible. A lot of irresponsible reporting of data. They got to take it to the extreme, and that's where it pisses a lot of people off. If they just reported the science, and the science said this was going on, most of the people would get behind it. It's the other BS that they don't want to deal with. The exaggeration, the doom and gloom, the sky is falling, bull crap. That hurts them repeatedly, time and time again. And they can't get that through their head, that that's what hurts them. Damn, get it through your head. But they'll never. They don't want to understand it. They won't understand it. And it just makes me wonder why. Why do we even try sometime? So Eric Holder's out there. He's urged Americans to give former Republican Alabama Senator Jeff Sessions, who's now Attorney General, a chance to prove himself as the nation's Attorney General. It seems you ought to give people a chance unless they are wholly unqualified. He may end up surprising us, and he maybe will say, this is who I always was, and I may end up saying, well, I've since grown then. Holder says he plans to be very sparing in his criticism because I know how tough the job is and I know how tough the decisions are. Though he worries Sessions will cross red lines on voting rights. They think anything that stops anyone, whether citizens or not, is a violation of the voting rights. I'm sorry. Showing an ID to vote is not interfering with your right to vote. It's what is needed. We have groups of people that are out to do us harm. They don't want to play by our rules. We have to safeguard our system. It amazes me that they don't understand that basic knowledge. It's not something that's hard to understand. I mean, we have a right as a nation to protect ourselves. We have a right to protect our borders. We have a right to protect our voting, to make sure those that are voting are the ones that should be voting. I see Democrats are at it again. They're really trying to cause as much conflict they can at these town halls for Republicans only. I'm wondering if we should start doing this to the Democrats. Give them a taste of what it's like. Start going after them and see if it gets the same coverage. See if they... It's liberal activism, and they stir it up. There's not this big opposition. They are trying to cause. But I say we fight fire with fire and start going after them. I'm sure our conversations will be shut down real quick then. They don't want debate. Oh, man. They can do it. They have a right to do it, but it's not... I don't think it's justified. It's real. It's put on. It's fake. It's exaggerated. And I'm going to laugh. I am going to laugh if, come 2018, these Democrats lose more seats. Because it looks like it's heading that way. They're not doing anything to help the situation. They're actually causing more problems. But that's okay. I don't know. I don't buy into it. I don't see the realism there. It's a minority of people trying to act like they're bigger, and it's worse than it is. It's not. I don't see it as being as big of an issue as they're trying to make it. That's my opinion. I'm sticking to it. I'll tell you, I'm sticking to it. It is what it is. You're listening to the Reaver of Common Sense. What the heck? What the heck is going on? That's why. You're listening to the Reaver of Common Sense right here on SHR Media and High Plains Radio, and we will be.
Listening to the SHR Media Network.
Breaking news. According to the latest report coming out of SHR Media, a merchandise store to support both the Reaver of Common Sense and SHR Media has just been unleashed to the general public. Be forewarned that this site can be contagious and numerous items can be purchased to support the best news programming. Go to Reaver.one website and click on the store link to check out the merchandise.
You have been listening to Reaver of Common Sense, hosted by my dad, Jersey Joe. Beware, the Jersey Takeover is here. Every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch the Reaver of Common Sense show, hosted by Jersey Joe, right here on shrmedia.com and highplainsdailynews.com. Only Jersey can deliver hell like no one else, so consider this your fair warning.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians,
You got a business. That you didn't build that.
a team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean,
Dude, I'm not saying coffee is stupid, bro.
Sackhead Clint,
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
also starring Sacco as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, I'm a little bit drunk, 'cause I'm drinking, drinking, drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on shrmedia.com.
Every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you can catch the Southside Mutt Show with its host, the Jersey Boys, Jersey Joe and Crash, right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio, where we will be digging up the dirt.
Times are dark. The people misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation in confusion needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guide. Because truth is not always pleasant.
If you miss a show, don't worry. You can catch the replays two ways, rebootingliberty.com or the Reaver of Common Sense.com. While you're there on Reaver of Common Sense, don't forget, drop in your email and keep up to date with everything going on, or click the like button on the Facebook widget. Now on to the Reaver of Common Sense.
Listening to the SHR Media Network.
This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show. And welcome back to the Reaver of Common Sense. I am your host, Jersey Joe. And I'm here to make sense out of the senseless. I try, at least. I try. So, on MSNBC, there's a host, Katie Tur, T-U-R, Tur. And during her show, I guess she was talking about Russia interference and all that, and the collusion. And it was quite funny because when Representative Rooney brought up about he started to talk about Obama telling Russia, after my election, I'll have more flexibility. And he admitted he accidentally said it was told to Putin. I mean, it was indirectly told. It was meant to go to Putin. So, but it still stood. But he did correct himself. And she turned around and I don't know what you're talking about. Which kind of funny because most people, if you're going to talk politics, would know something so basic. But what happened is she said that she wasn't into politics back then, and she didn't know about it. So after the show, she did research it. And she did talk about it. And people just don't understand that when they talk about this Russia crap, they don't look at, guess what? Obama gave more leeway to Russia. No one peeped. Nothing. That this whole Russia thing is a red herring. It is meant to disguise and deflect off the true subjects of what was in those emails. They don't want to talk about what was in those emails. And if the media was actually in touch, and I actually had some, well, what about all the coverage on the email? Was that fair? What coverage? All the big networks ignored what was going on. They ignored. I love how that's in the past. We can't talk about that was in the past. You talked about a comment Trump made on a bus in private 10 to 12 years ago, but that wasn't in the past. And yes, talking about Obama and his administration, how they dealt with Russia, that does have to deal with what's going on. They allowed the aggression from Russia and never did anything. Oh, they put a little sanctions towards the end of his administration. We ignored so much from Russia during Obama's administration. Let them get away with murder. Literally. Obama removed the missile defense in Europe, allowing Russia to start invading. And then they want to blame Trump for everything. Well, it seems that it was Obama's actions that has caused all of this. It's absolutely amazing. And you got so many people, they don't know the facts. They really don't know the facts that are out there. They don't look at that. And then they try to deflect off of it. No, that's nothing. No, it has everything to do with what's going on. You had Hillary Clinton that was going to Putin's house. And they talk about that Russia wanted Trump. Trump wants to build our military up, strengthen. No, he doesn't want to leave NATO. He wants everybody to pay their fair share, but he's willing to back up NATO. He's willing to take on Russia head on. Hillary gave him a reset button. How much of a joke is that? It was Obama's administration that sold off 20% of our uranium mines to Russia. Weapons-grade uranium sold to Russia. That is the true conversation we need to have. I don't know about anybody else. I see that more as collusion than all the other bullshit. I'm amazed how people have their eyes closed. And they just they don't want to look at the facts. I'm at a loss. I mean, this whole Russia thing is an absolute embarrassment on our country. And so many people fall for it. It's what makes it even worse. I can't believe that they would fall for this. It scares me. It really does. How many people just fall in line with it. I don't know. It is. It's weird. So airlines are forced to cut ties to Cuba because Americans don't want to go. President Barack Obama concessions to Obama opened the ways for U.S. airlines to do business with the communist dictatorship. After announcing frequent flights to the islands over a year ago, however, many major airlines have found the demand they expected from U.S. tourists simply is not there. In an extensive report Friday, Bloomberg noted a general dismay both among airlines and other tourism-related business that Cuba was not proving as popular as they expected. The outlet reports that American Airlines was forced to cut a fourth of its flights to Cuba. JetBlue chooses to use smaller planes rather than limit the number of flights, but nevertheless had to address the low demands. Different experts offered different explanations for the situation. One noted that the popularity of Cuba trips did increase in the immediate aftermath of President Obama's 2014 announcement of restoring diplomatic ties with the dictatorship, but that the initial interest ultimately fizzled. The soaring prices following the U.S. entry into Cuba's tourism market did not help. According to Bloomberg, some rooms now cost as much as $650 per night, serving as a major deterrent to Americans hunting for novel warm weather destinations. And those prices began to rise long before the airlines began flying south. While the United States relaxed laws allowing big businesses to operate in Cuba, the Cuban government did not change any of its laws to accommodate the extensive freedom Americans are used to on free soils. This may have also impacted both American interest in Cuba and the ability of U.S. businesses to operate there. A major example of business profit hopes clashing with draconian communistic laws occurred last year when Carnival Cruise announced its first voyage to Cuba. Cuban Americans looking to take advantage of the trips rapidly found they were not welcome because the arrival of Cuban Americans by ship violated a Communist Party law passed after President John F. Kennedy chose to doom the Cuban Bay of Pigs invasion to failure. Carnival's decision to abide by Cuban law put the corporation at odds with a 1964 Civil Rights Act and triggered a wave of protests and lawsuits. The Cuban government ultimately made exception for Carnival. Similar legal minefields exist with other U.S. tourist enterprise. Tourism to Cuba is particularly dangerous for Cuban Americans, as Cuban law does not recognize their U.S. citizenship, even if they were born in the United States and have never been on the island. The U.S. Embassy in Havana was forced to release a warning to U.S. citizens with Cuban heritage that government could arbitrarily seize their passports and arrest them for counter-revolutionary activities, not necessarily in response to any particular political activity. Aren't we glad we gave them full freedom to do whatever they want? Tourists who do not have a Cuban background have another reason to stay away. Decades of communism have turned Cuba into an impoverished nation with limited luxuries and especially limited freedom of expression. Tourists who have written of their experience there describe it as an inconvenience and sad. I also saw up close an undercurrent of sadness I couldn't quite shake, wrote Carrie Paul in Market Watch after her return. The oppressive atmosphere was impossible to ignore when I offhandedly told people I meant to visit in New York City. Sometimes, and watched them shake their heads. Paul noted that she could not endorse Americans visiting the island, not just because of the sadness of the experience, but the knowledge that the influx of tourists is causing major food shortages for locals. A website, iAfrica, found international tourists appalled at the conditions in Cuban hotels and restaurants. You spent 3 hours waiting to eat. Since they were state restaurants, the staff could have cared less. French tourists protested. Other tourists noted that the 4-star hotel often lacked running water. Way to go, Obama. Way to go. You're listening to the Reaver of Common Sense right here on SHR Media and High Plains Radio. We will be right back.
Listening to the SHR Media Network.
Breaking news. According to the latest report coming out of SHR Media, a merchandise store to support both the Reaver of Common Sense and SHR Media has just been unleashed to the general public. Be forewarned that this site can be contagious and numerous items can be purchased to support the best news programming. Go to Reaver.one website and click on the store link to check out the merchandise.
You have been listening to Reaver of Common Sense, hosted by my dad, Jersey Joe. Beware, the Jersey Takeover is here. Every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch the Reaver of Common Sense show, hosted by Jersey Joe, right here on SHRmedia.com and HighPlainsDailyNews.com. Only Jersey can deliver hell like no one else, so consider this your fair warning.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians,
You got a business. That you didn't build that.
a team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean,
Dude, I'm not saying coffee is stupid, bro.
Sackhead Clint,
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
also starring Sacco as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, I'm a little bit drunk, 'cause I'm drinking, drinking, drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on shrmedia.com.
Every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you can catch the Southside Mutt Show with its hosts, the Jersey Boys, Jersey Joe and Crash, right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio, where we will be digging up the dirt.
Times are dark. The people misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation in confusion needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guide. Because truth is not always pleasant.
If you miss a show, don't worry. You can catch the replays two ways, rebootingliberty.com or the Reaver of Common Sense.com. While you're there on Reaver of Common Sense, don't forget, drop in your email and keep up to date with everything going on, or click the like button on the Facebook widget. Now on to the Reaver of Common Sense.
Listening to the SHR Media Network.
This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show. And welcome back to the Reaver of Common Sense. I'm your host, Jersey Joe, and I'm trying to make sense out of the senseless. Kind of confused here. It is really weird. Because Soros, it seems, is sticking his nose into things again. And this time into Europe, and what he's doing is one of his organization is urging an ethnic cleansing of journalistic vocabulary on immigration. An Italian lobby group is insisting on purging journalistic language of all references to migrants that could carry a negative connotation, including such terms as illegal immigrants. Like I can speak today. I'm absolutely amazed at the audacity of this man. That he is after. I don't know what his end game is. I really don't know, and I don't care. But the list forbidden terms to be expunged from news reporting comprises expressions that underscore the ethnicity of certain migrant groups or their illegal status. Terms like clandestine, gypsy, nomad, extracommunitarian, that coming from outside the European Union, and others like them are marked for extermination. Even such precise terms as Albanian, Chinese should be excluded from news reports, the association contends. Because today they are no longer neutral. The groups also insist that the ethnic origin of perpetrators of crimes should not be mentioned in news story so as not to create an association of malfeasance with migrants. Islamic extremists should simply be referred to as extremists, the guide declares, to avoid stirring a prejudice against Muslims. The political correct guide to reporting on immigration is the brainchild of Cardamarama, something like that, .org, an immigration lobbying association financed by left-wing billionaire George Soros through his Open Society Foundation. According to reports, the anti-populist magnate has been pouring hundreds of thousands of dollars into U.S. protests against President Donald Trump. George Soros is the third largest donor to Planned Parenthood, providing millions of dollars annually to America's largest abortion provider. As a committed globalist, Soros has struggled to undermine the national sovereignty of individual countries, pushing for greater decision-making at the supernatural level. This man he has things set up for him to make money with the globalism. He has no care for nation. And so far as there are collective interests that transcend state boundaries, the sovereignties of states must be subordinated into international law and international institutions, he wrote. Perhaps more to the point, however, Soros is also a financial backer of Media Matters for America, a progressive media watchdog group that attacks alternative media and works to make sure that no conservative view makes it into the mainstream media. On its English language version of its website, Carta di Roma states that it was founded in 2011 with the goal of implementing the journalistic code of conduct on immigration. Seeks to be a stable reference point for those who work on a daily basis with media and minority issues, journalists, media operators, as well as various institutions, associations, and activists involved in promoting and supporting the right of asylum seekers, refugees, minorities, and migrants in the field of media reporting. Despite their hyper-attention to precision in language, the group insists on referring to the U.S. temporary travel ban by the tendency label of a Muslim ban and its attack on President Trump's executive order. So when it suits them, they pick and choose the language. But when it's a negative to them, oh, Lord, don't speak of Muslim. So let's get to Trump's comment the other day. And I didn't know a lot about it because I wasn't exactly paying attention, I'll admit. And I noticed that brain fart. I noticed there was a big uproar over Trump's Sweden comment. I really didn't pay attention to it that day, and I was kind of, indifferent to it. Well, started looking into it. Now, maybe he kind of misspoke the way he termed it, but he wasn't wrong. Sweden is not this place of peace that they say it is. There's a lot of turmoil going on in Sweden. They've been covering up a lot of crimes in Sweden. I don't understand what they're talking about when they say there's nothing going on. Because it seems that there's a lot going on in Sweden nowadays. Everything's hunky-dory Well, I seem to disagree on that. Things are worse than they appear to be in Sweden. The women, God, they're wearing bracelets begging people not to touch them. That's how bad it is in Sweden. This idea that everything's going beautiful in Sweden is, well, an outright lie. And I kind of snickered, not because it happened, but because of the timing of it happening. They say everything's fine, and they have a massive riot the same night. That should tell you exactly what's going on in that country. This migrant push that they keep screaming about is not what it appears to be. It is not going all fine and dandy. We have massive issues. I don't know how many times we got to, and how many ways I got to say this. We are not doing as good as everybody says we are. There's more issues than it would appear. And this constant cover-up of the truth is not a good thing. But the truth really doesn't seem to matter to any of these people. The truth is an inconvenience to them. They want to push what they want to push, and they don't care if it hurts anybody, kills anybody. They don't care. They want what they want. And I'm amazed at just how far they will go to cover up all these crimes that are being committed. You got women being raped, and they say they're for women. You got gays being murdered, but they say they're for gays. They seem to have themselves so spread, they don't know which direction they're going in. I don't know. It seems they don't know what the hell they're doing either. And if they don't know, how are we supposed to know? And with that, that's going to be the show. Don't forget, tonight is one of the greatest conservative nights on SHR Media. We will have the Southside Much So at 8 p.m. right here on SHR Media, followed by Ken, the Exceptional Conservative, at 9 Eastern Standard Time. And then we end the night at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with a Sackheads radio show. It doesn't get any better than that, people. You need to tune in and listen and learn. And with that, I'll be back tomorrow Well, actually, I'll be back tonight, but I'll be back tomorrow at 11 o'clock with the Reaver of Common Sense. Till tonight, have a great day. You've been listening to the Reaver of Common Sense with its host, Jersey Joe. You can tune in every day, Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on hppundit.com and shrmedia.com.